Live start points are finally in FC 25. And what better way for me to dip my toes in the water than rebuilding one of Germany's biggest clubs, Borussia Dortmund. As we can see here, the live start point of the 2nd of December has Borussia Dortmund sitting 5th, rapidly losing touch with Bayern Munich at the top of the table. It's time for us to take over at Dortmund, given their current predicament, and rescue them, get them to the top of Germany and the top of Europe. And already we can see as we load into the career mode, Julian Brandt injured. That is a huge blow. Fortunately though, it is only for 2 weeks. Karim Adeyemi will be back to full fitness in 4 days. And the young Italian defender Filippo Mane also with a slight knock. But overall, the team we take over at Dortmund with is in half decent nick, not too many big problems to worry about from availability, but there are certainly some selection headaches for us to deal with. We have a month until the January window opens up. I want us to be up comfortably in those Champions League spots. I want us to somehow get back on pace with Bayern Munich. When it comes to the Champions League though, we still have 3 games remaining, but we are in half decent shape there. A matchup with Barcelona awaits. And now on the 1st of January, we are inside the top 4, sitting 4th in Germany right now. Still though, a 10-point gap between us and Bayern Munich at the top. But it was a pretty strong December. Undefeated, 3 wins, 1 draw. And when it comes to doing business here in January, I have been scouring the message boards, scouring the transfer rumor mill about what Dortmund are going to do in January. And when it comes to player departures, there was one name that I saw consistently. Daniel Mayen. Apparently, Dortmund fans not happy with him not happy at the club, so I have transfer listed him, and we'll see if we can get something over the line here in January. And there we go. We've got it over the line. We're going to get a decent transfer fee for Daniel Mayen, as the Dutchman is heading to Manchester United for £34.5 million. I think that makes him the first transfer of the Ruben Amorim era at United. I've also shortlisted every player that has been rumored with a move to Borussia Dortmund. I'm definitely not going in for all these guys, but I'm going to cherry pick some that I think would be great additions to the side. Before we can do that though, we are going to send the American Cole Campbell out on loan. He's going to be heading to Talleres for 2 years. This dude recently came out and said that he can see himself winning the Ballon d'Or. He has high expectations for himself, so we'll see if we can help those out a little bit. I feel like this was the name I saw the most though when I was scouring the transfer rumor mill, and that is the name of the Croatian midfielder Martin Baturina, bringing him across from Dinamo Zagreb at 24.7 mil. And in another addition to the midfield, I am going to sign the Swedish center midfielder Hugo Larsson, Bundesliga experience, as he joins us from Frankfurt. I promise you lads, this isn't a rebuild where I can only sign midfielders. It's just the way the transfer mill is working out. And I think it is something that is going to be necessary with the aging of a lot of the midfielders. Pascal Gross at 33, Emre Can at 30, Sabitzer 30. It's not going to be a bad idea to kind of get that next generation coming up. And you know what, fellas? I'm going to lean further into that. It has to be done. Job Bellingham. We need to have a Bellingham name at Dortmund. Job Bellingham joining us. Pretty cut price deal, getting him from Sunderland for £4.7 million. And I would love if we could get some development for Job this window, so I'm going to add him to the loan list. And there we go, pretty straightforward. The loan move secured though for Joe Bellingham, 6 months at Girona. But we have ended up finishing top of the Champions League group phases. Okay. It would actually be hilarious if we won the Champions League in our first season at Dortmund. I'm not going to discount it, but this could really be a 6-month rebuild. We'll let the playoff stage happen and we'll see who we're versing. And there it is. AS Monaco, round of 16. This will be a fun challenge. I mean, the goal with rebuilds is to win it as fast as possible. I've done a couple of rebuilds back in the day. I haven't had one for a while, I feel like, where I've won it in 1 season. But if we can win it this year, that would be a brand new record. A 9-month rebuild. Not even, like a 7-month rebuild. Let's see if we can keep that dream alive here. Against Monaco, it is a 2-2 draw. To the Westfalenstadion we go. 2-2 against AS Monaco. Are we going to keep things moving here in German football? Yes, we do. European dream is alive. It is Julian Brandt, a man that I had seen some transfer rumors about potentially leaving, but I decided to keep, getting us the winner. Steps up another level though. AC Milan in the quarterfinals. But hey, we're coming into it in form. We got Bundesliga Manager of the Month starting off at home for the first leg here. Can we get ourselves a lead to take back to Milan? We do! It is a 62nd minute go-ahead goal for Garassi there. we take a lead to the San Siro. But Kobel got injured? When did that happen? He suffered a hand injury and is going to be out for 3 weeks. So that means 75 rated Maya is into the starting 11 as we try to hold on to this lead. Just keep a clean sheet, mate. Keep a clean sheet and you will be a hero. He is a hero because he keeps a clean sheet, but we get a win anyways. That is another goal there for Grassi, and we are into the Champions League semi-finals. We legitimately might be able to do a 7-month rebuild here. All right, I'll say this. Even if I win the Champions League this year, I'm still going to see if we can go back-to-back. There will definitely be a season 2. Otherwise, this video will be like 4 minutes long. But that might not even matter because we've just been drawn against Real Madrid in the semi-finals. Gregor Kobel is back though, ladies and gentlemen. First leg at the Bernabeu. Come on, lads. Get us to a Champions League final. Oh, we are 2-1 behind. Mbappe and Vinicius giving them the lead. We now need to go back home and see if we can keep this miracle run alive. And the comeback is made even harder as our striker Garasi is suspended for this second leg. Maximilian Beer comes into the starting 11. Can we pull off a miracle return against Real Madrid? We do not. It is a 5-3 aggregate loss. To be totally honest, I'm not that upset though. It would have been nice to win the rebuild here, but I didn't really put my mark on the squad yet. It would almost feel like an illegitimate win. Now let's just make sure we secure it via the Bundesliga. I was pretty confident that we weren't going to be able to catch Bayern Munich after the great start to the season they had, but I'm really happy that we have ended up second in the Bundesliga here with Borussia Dortmund, meaning we are heading back to the Champions League next year. I'm excited to put my own mark on this Dortmund squad and hopefully go further. We now have the runs on the board that we can make it to the semi-finals. It's just about getting those tweaks to get us over the line. Bayern Munich win the league. Frankfurt dropped off massively. Relegation zone is Heidenheim and Holstein Kiel automatically going down with VfL Bochum in the playoff. Stuttgart win DFB Pokal. We went out to Wolfsburg in the second round. Darmstadt win the relegation playoff. They're coming up to the Bundesliga next year. Real Madrid end up winning the Champions League. Man United and Donyell Mayen win the Europa. And Chelsea win the Conference League. Garassi, 31 goals, 8 assists for him here in this first season. Adeyemi, I played him a lot more since we took over. Gets himself 10 goals, 4 assists. Julian Brandt, a solid season. I'm really going to have to do some deep thinking on where we want to improve next year. And not that I played him too much, but Jan Couto is returning to Man City after his loan. All right, we're here in season 2, and I'm going to make a bold move. I kind of want to future-proof this side. I want to get the next generation coming up. I'm going to sell some big-name players, some older players, and honestly, some of the guys I bring them in with are going to be prospects. For example, I'm giving Larson a starting 11 spot this year, and the first casualty is going to be Emre Can, selling him to Villarreal for 19.5 mil. Also, I know this is probably a bad thing for us given we're competing with them in the Bundesliga, but Heung-min Son heading back to Bayer Leverkusen, it tickles the right spot in my brain. That is brilliant to see. A change in formation means the right backs and the left backs are up for sale, which is why Julian Ryerson is heading to Tottenham permanently, and Sebastian Haller is heading to Freiburg permanently as well. He's the same overall as Maximilian Beer, and I want to make sure Maximilian is getting as much game time as possible. Spending big to collect our first signing of season number 2. We will be bringing in the defensive midfielder, Morten Hjulmand, the Danish defensive midfielder. Pumped with this one. He joins us from Sporting for £40 million. And a young rock into our defense as well. Mickey van de Ven, the Dutch defender, signing on from Tottenham. Probably the biggest departure of the season here is going to go to Julian Brandt. We have sold him to AC Milan, £62 million. We're getting some serious money to play around with now. I mean, I could give Gio Reyna the starting right midfield spot, but that ain't happening. There we go, boys. We get our new guy on the right-hand side of the midfield. I mean, we have seen some pretty good Japanese players at Dortmund over the years. I think back to my childhood and seeing Shinji Kagawa there. A different part of the midfield, I know, but having Kubo join us from Real Sociedad is another step forward into our domination of European football. Really trying to sign guys that are decent now, are going to be great next year, and they're going to continue being great for the next 5, 6, 7 years. I want to leave a dynasty at Dortmund. Going to get a 2-year loan here, though, for Batterina. He's going to stay at Hoffenheim, staying in Germany. Joe Bellingham heading on a 2-year loan to Atalanta. And maybe controversial, but Marcel Sabitzer heading to Bayern Munich. He's not the first, he's not the last player that's going to go from Dortmund to Bayern Munich and vice versa. But it always just feels a little weird. We're going to cash in regardless, though. Kabar heading to Konyaspor. Yusafa Makoko heading on loan to Crystal Palace. And Rami Bensenbani heading to Leipzig. Well, that was a bloody busy transfer window, wasn't it, fellas? We have revolutionized this squad, though, changing the formations, really future-proofing it. Our bench is still unbelievably strong, and the part that I'm most excited about, we still have 100 million pounds, more than 100 million pounds in the bank. I'm definitely going to be spending that. I'm going to say, though, big pressure on our midfield. Larson, I'm willing to give this season, like I said, to see how he performs and get the future-proofing. Gonna really depend on how things go here for Nmecha, whether I go to upgrade for another center midfielder. Because ultimately, while I'm still trying to future-proof the squad and making sure we're competitive for the next few years, I want to win the Champions League this year. The goal is still to win the Champions League here in Season 2. So when it comes to teams we're versing, September starts tough. We've got Arsenal, Dinamo Kiev in October, followed by Juventus, Slavia Praha in November, followed by Manchester United. This is tough, man. Real Madrid in December. How are we getting such a tough draw? Galatasaray in January, and finishing it off with Athletic Bilbao. The easiest game we've got is Slavia Praha. Besides that, we are versing big juggernaut teams in Europe. This is a bit of a stitch up. Okay, 1st of January, we are undefeated in the Bundesliga right now, 6 points clear. We're basically in the same position that Bayern Munich were in this time last year, which I'm not mad about by any stretch of the imagination. And when it comes to the Champions League, still 2 games to play. Undefeated there as well. We are undefeated in all, or are we still in the DFB Pokal? No, we are not. I was going to say that would have been undefeated in all competitions, but we went out there to Union Berlin. Our only loss so far this first half of the season is against Union Berlin in the 3rd round of DFB Pokal. Come on now. Felix Nmecha going up +2 overall in the first half of this season, though. That is much better than I had hoped, so I'm not selling him right now. Well, I'm not even going to look to upgrade him right now. In fact, most of the squad is growing quite nicely. You could make a case. Ooh, am I going to make the case for Sula? I'm going to keep him as a backup, but I think I'm going to go for an upgrade here. An upgraded center back on Nicolas Sula. Yeah, we're going to do that. Very rarely do I get to sign this man in rebuilds, and I'm not turning down the opportunity when I have one. Ruben Dias. He's left Man City in this save, went to PSG early on, so I feel like it's fair game to go in for him now. But that is going to see Ruben Dias joining us here at Borussia Dortmund. A backline now of Van de Ven, Schlotterbeck, and Ruben Dias. With Kobel in between the sticks, we shouldn't concede a goal for the rest of the season. But we have signed him from PSG for £70 million. And I'm bringing Felix's brother, I assume, Lucas Nmecha, to the club as a backup striker. We don't hold on to top spot in the Champions League after our final 2 games, but we still go undefeated, and we still automatically move into the knockout rounds, into the round of 16 for the 2nd straight year, skipping the playoffs, hoping, I wouldn't mind Monaco again, or a team like Monaco, but I'm hoping we don't get as tough a run after that. We get Barcelona. Cool. Barcelona, round of 16. Thanks a lot, FC gods. Straight into the Lions' Den we go, away at the Camp Nou. Can we get ourselves a first leg result to take home? We do not. Dani Olmo, the former Leipzig man, puts a beating on us, and we are in serious threat. That's our first loss in the Champions League all season. If we go out in the round of 16, I'm going to be filthy. Just get ourselves a 1-0 victory and push this one to extra time at home against Barcelona. Come on, Dortmund. We send it to extra time. Hillman and Adeyemi, they equalize in the 74th minute, and then Ansu Fati followed by Dani Olmo. Of course, Dani Olmo. Barcelona are going to take us out in the round of 16. That is brutal. Absolutely brutal. If we don't win the Bundesliga title this year, I'm going to be filthy because we have bottled the Champions League. That's the silver lining. It's not an invincible season, but we have won the Bundesliga with Borussia Dortmund, 13 points clear of Bayern Munich. We're heading back to the Champions League in Season 3. I'm not wanting another round of 16 exit. Scrolling down the table and the teams getting relegated, St. Pauli and Schalke, with St. Pauli's rival Hamburg in the playoff game. Leverkusen win DFB Pokal, and Hamburg are going to survive a penalty shootout win over Cologne. Inter Milan win the Champions League, Roma win the Jose Mourinho derby, and Atalanta and Job Bellingham are going to win the Conference League. Our two strikers doing quality here this season, same with Adeyemi. The lad's developing nicely, Batterina up to an 81. I really want to see how some of our younger fellas did go though. Felix and Metro up to an 82. Makoko goes up to an 80 at Palace. Campbell a 72 at Tejerez. Batterino an 81. Job Bellingham to a 77. I mean, he's only just behind Hugo Larsson, who goes up to an 80. Honestly though, I might look at getting a starting center midfielder in for Hugo Larsson and move Larsson back to the bench next year, because I think we can win the Champions League next year. Adeyemi to an 84, which is brilliant. Hillman goes up to an 86 here this season. We will be saying goodbye to 3 players though. Tyler Meister, I'm letting walk on a free. Marcel Lotka has already joined another club. And Pascal Gross, I tried to re-sign him, but he's going back to English football, joining up with Burnley. Bring on Season 3 at Dortmund. Champions of Germany, and I'm hoping next year champions of Europe. We're going for a Champions League this year, lads. We are going for a Champions League. I'm trying to make 2 big signings to our starting 11, the first of which has just gone through. It's in the center midfield role, and it is for another Dutchman into the side. Coming from AC Milan, it is Tiani Reinders. Oh, I just noticed we got the gold Bundesliga patch on the side as well, but Reinders is joining us for £48.4 million. I feel kind of bad for him. I feel kind of bad for his brother as well, but and Metro is gone after just half a year at the club. He was a nice stopgap. We've got Makoko back from his loan, and I plan on making a big striker signing, which will send Beer to the bench as well. So Lucas and Metro staying in Germany, heading to Berlin. And that money has allowed us to bring Kai Havertz back to Germany. He's going to be playing striker alongside Guirassy, and I'm absolutely pumped about it. I haven't used Kai Havertz too much in recent years in rebuilds, but I'm going to bring him across from Arsenal here. He joins us for £48.5 million. Come on, man. Surely this team is not going to get themselves knocked out of the Champions League in the round of 16. Our defense, I'm planning on not having to touch for the remainder of the rebuild. Havertz and Guirassy up top, I'm hoping can be superstars. I'm hoping for a big year from Reinders. However, I'm too busy in the Christmas spirit, but this is a good damn team. Champions League draw is tough though, man. Starting off against Liverpool, then we've got Girona, Atletico Madrid in October, into Feyenoord in November, along with Arsenal, the Kai Havertz derby there. December, we've got Red Bull Salzburg. January, it's Galatasaray, rounded out with AEK Athens. I want undefeated. I want top of the Champions League, top of the Bundesliga, and I would like us to go on a run in DFB Pokal as well. I want every trophy this year. 1st of January, and the title race is a lot tighter this year than it was this stage last year. We sit 2nd in the Bundesliga, but we could easily drop down to, I mean, we're 1 point ahead of RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich, but on the same token, 2 points behind Leverkusen. But when it comes to the Champions League, we are one of the top dogs again, just as we drew it up. 3rd place this year. Again, I'm begging you, please no Barcelona FC gods, please. Seeing Barcelona, though, in the playoff phase is quite terrifying. It's not Barcelona, but it's not an easy one either. It is Arsenal in the Champions League round of 16. How did we go against them in the league phase? We lost to them 2-1. They're the only team we lost to in the league phase, which is not a good omen at all. We stuffed ourselves up last year in the first leg against Barcelona by losing. Just don't lose. Don't lose the first leg and you're a chance. It's a draw. I can live with that. I say that like I'm expecting us to lose, and I don't. Like, we are literally one of the contenders for the Champions League this year, but we just need to come out strong in first legs. It's a draw to take home. Second leg at home here. This would be a great time for Kai Havertz to show up and show us why we paid the big bucks for him. Come on, Dortmund. Come on, Dortmund. It isn't Kai Havertz, but I don't care. We get over the hump that is the round of 16. And we're back into the quarterfinals. It doesn't get any easier. And I mean, looking at the final 8, there was no chance of it getting any easier. But we have now got PSG in the quarterfinals at home for the first leg here. We need to get ourselves the advantage, need to set ourselves up for the second leg in Paris. Dortmund are going to take the lead. I mean, take an even game, not take the lead. I wish we were taking the lead. It is a 1-1 scoreline, just like the round of 16 against Arsenal. I'm a little nervous, I can't lie. PSG are tough, and the main difference between this and the Arsenal second leg is that we're heading to Paris right now rather than heading home. This will be massive. We get it done. We get it done. Semi-final bound. Guirassi's gonna get us the winner. Come on. Okay. An all-German affair here. We are taking on RB Leipzig in the Champions League semis. I will say I haven't felt comfortable at all during these Champions League knockout rounds. I'm hoping that that perception can shift a little here with the first leg. We do get the win, and it is the man that I slandered earlier on, Gio Reyna, giving us the 1-goal advantage to take the Leipzig. Huge blow though, Nico Schlotterbeck suspended for the second leg. I'm feeling very glad that I kept a hold of Nicolas Sierla. He comes into the starting 11, a spot in a Champions League final on the line. Get the result, hang on, and have nobody out for it. 2-0, and we've got a few yellow cards though. Reinders and Guirassy both with yellow cards. They had a red. Damn, that's actually so... That's not our guy, is it? I sent Pascal Gross to Burnley. Don't tell me he ended up at Leipzig getting a red card and our former guy Benson Burney missing a penalty. But Borussia Dortmund are headed to a Champions League final. Oh my God. Both of them are suspended. Both of them suspended for the Champions League final. Oh my God. But here we go, the 2027 Champions League final. Dortmund versus Atletico Madrid. Taking a look around the grounds, an all-English Europa League final that goes to Villa. Getafe win the Conference League over Union Berlin. We go back-to-back as Bundesliga champions, a 1-point victory over Leverkusen, but we had it tied up coming into the final game of the season because we were versing Leverkusen on the final match day in a matchup that we lost. So we were 4 points clear coming into it. Bayern Munich have qualified for next year's Champions League. Hamburg do not survive the drop this year though. They go down with Darmstadt. We win the German Super Cup at the start of the year, and Union Berlin win DFB Pokal. We've had a really good first 3 years in all competitions except for DFB Pokal. Another third round exit. And when it comes to the relegation playoff, that is still to be decided. No Guirassy or Reinders are massive blows heading into this Champions League final. Beer is going to come into the starting 11. Hugo Larsen back into the starting 11. We're going to have to be on top of our game if we want to win a Champions League final. Gotta say, Martin Batterina at Hoffenheim absolutely crushed it. Imagine I just recalled him from loan. I mean, he would be a higher rated. What's Bellingham looking at? I might recall Bellingham and get him into the starting 11. Bellingham's a 79. I think Larsen's 80 or 81. He's 80. I could change up the formation and bring back Batterina, but I feel like that would be in bad taste. Let's get into the Champions League final. Nice ball there. Adeyemi. See that man back post. Kai Havertz with his height. Kai Havertz was offside though. I need to benefit and use that to our advantage. Well done to put it out wide there. Get it to Kubo. Kubo. Calafiori's pushing up too high. It's a real Arsenal backline in here. Punched out. Keeper off the line. Havertz shoots it. Oh, we probably could have gone across the goal. Do not let him get something here before halftime. Xerxes. I misread that one. He drived that at the near post. Do not. Big. Oh my God. I thought I got the block at first, and then I thought Xerxes put that in the top corner. Corner for Atletico. Jeremy Frimpong. Get that one away. They win the header. What is that animation? Felix and Mecha. And Mecha. He scores it. And Mecha scores it in the 83rd minute. We have had no clear-cut opportunities, but it is Mecha who is going to score a rocket there on the edge of the box. I was in so many different minds as to what I did there. I was debating playing it around, but then I just thought, they're giving us enough space to run here. Gabriel was not closing him down. Have a lash, and the lash pays off. Oh my God, they haven't brought their keeper up, which I'm so surprised about. We need to get this one away, fellas. Get this away and we win a Champions League. Hold on to it. Run out the clock. Come on, Kobel. Blow that whistle. There it is. Borussia Dortmund have won the Champions League with our backs against the wall. Some of our star players suspended for this one, and it truly showed. We were lacking the quality up top. and we were lacking the presence in the midfield. But ultimately, we have overcome this adversity as we are going to win the Champions League title. Nico Schlotterbeck with the captain's armband on his arm, lifting the UEFA Champions League title. Lads, if you enjoyed today's rebuild, make sure you click here to subscribe and click here to check out another video.